Hello out there in video land, and hello out there in radio land. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is your Habsolutely channel. This is the Habsolutely channel. You can tell by what I'm wearing. I got this big Habs logo right in my head. That's not a toque. That's right.
I thought that was a tattoo.
It is. Tattoo you. Isn't that a Rolling Stone?
That'd be a great place to put a tattoo, right? Of the Habs logo right on your forehead. Yeah, it'd be like you had a toque on it all the time.
Right. It's better than a swastika like Manson.
I kind of like that.
I think it would be cool. I think the viewers would love to see me get a tattoo on my forehead.
I think they would. I think they'd pay for it.
They probably. I wouldn't know if they would.
Yeah, but this could be a fundraiser for your favorite charity.
Yeah, me.
Pizza.
Yeah, Pizza Patrol. That's it. Hey, listen, it's Absolutely. We're in 4680Q Studios, downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in case you're wondering where we are. And this is my co-host,
Jean-Louis Filion.
That's right. He's got some bizarre shirt on here.
It's the All-Star break. All-Star break.
It's our high school shirt.
Orange and black. Never go back, right?
Yeah. That's our high school colors right there. That's a nice jersey, actually. That's beautiful.
Nice, eh? I got. You know what? I got this in 1993 when the All-Star game was played at the Montreal Forum.
Yeah, look at this. Right? Number 93.
93 for 1993. That's got my name on it.
There you go. Wow, perfect. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a wild. Where'd you get that? Right at.
No, like there was a tour. We took the train actually because it was kind of like old school, and we took a train to Montreal for All-Star Weekend.
Ah.
So parties in Old Montreal on the Friday night. The All-Star game was Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Yes, I think skills competition in the afternoon. I think the game was on Saturday evening.
Wow.
And then of course we went to Partyville in downtown Montreal.
There you go.
Yeah,
that sounds fantastic. And they were selling those jerseys at the game, or
somebody put this jersey together. It was like an organized trip, and so the people that went on the trip each got an NHL jersey with 93 on the back and their name.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man.
It's quite nice.
That is
quite nice. In fact,
jersey
at the party in the old Ville de Montréal, I ran into Jaromir Jagr. And I went up to him and I said, "So today," I said, "Hello, Jaromir, what's the weather like today?" And he looked at me like he was ready to like smack me out, right? Yeah, because Jaromir Jagr was doing the weather in Pittsburgh. And so the Pittsburgh radio station every day would say, "Today's weather brought to you by, Jaromir Jagr. So Jaromir, what's the weather like today?" And he'd say, "Sunny." And they'd say, "That's today's weather with Jaromir Jagr." And they were all one-word answers.
Yeah,
and that's
so wonder you didn't just say girls.
And so when I saw him, it was girls. Like, I threw it back at him, and he looked at me, and it was like, who the are you?
Yeah. So what's going on, Jaromir? Girls. What's the weather like, girls? He like girls. Where's the ladies' man?
Well, we all do, don't we?
It's that song. It's raining men. Well, his is it's raining girls.
Raining girls.
So it's been a nice break.
Yeah, it's the All-Star break.
Yeah, and but we get back to business on Saturday, taking on the Ottawa Senators. In
Ottawa, I think too.
I think it's let's see. I got my handy dandy chart. The Sens in Ottawa.
There you go.
And then we only got 2 games coming up this week. We got the Sens and the Canes, and we got Ottawa. And I think Tuesday we play the Canes.
Perfect.
So a nice rest. Sammy's nice and rested. He never saw the ice like I said he would.
He's had to travel.
He's had to travel from Montreal to Boston.
Yeah, and he's still stuck there. Like, would you want to be stuck in Boston? Come on. What do you do there?
The
only thing I know is people who watch Cheers go to find the bar. That's all I know.
Visit trailer parks and see the fans.
What else is there to do there? Seriously, there's no hockey there.
No, go see the fans in the trailer parks.
There you go.
That's it. Other than that. Probably getting a couple fights.
Done like dinner.
Get in fights.
Fans, if he was on the ice playing on Thursday night, he could probably get into a fight.
Well, yeah, that was an interesting game. But I'm glad our guys never got to play because I don't want them injured. You see what's going on now. Both the Chick brothers are out, And what's his name? McElroy or whatever his name is from Boston is out. Guys are getting hurt.
Karma is a payback, I guess, right?
Well, that's what somebody said, karma, right? But I'm going like it's not worth getting hurt for. I mean, we're into a season right now where everybody's vying for a playoff spot and everything else. Do you really want your players going out there and and fighting like before the game even starts?
Well, obviously somebody did, because that was a very organized, like, drop the puck and let's go.
Yeah, well, it's because they were booing the national anthem. But
no, I don't believe that.
You don't think so?
No, I really don't. It was the Tkachuk brothers, right?
Well, yeah. Well, let me tell you a story.
Okay,
I'd like
to hear your one.
I said USA 3. 51st State 1, right?
Did you post that?
Yeah. 51st State 1, and then I put the film at 11 or something. A simple statement.
That's easy, yeah.
You know who wanted to fight me? Everybody. Every Canadian wanted to fight me.
Come on, man.
Calling me names and that orange Cheeto man.
Names?
They were freaking out because I said the 51st State. I mean, these guys are like they have TDS. They're butthurt. We lost the game because the team was better, and the goaltending was better.
Well, we lost the game because we only scored 1 goal, and the other team scored 3.
Well, 2, and then empty.
But still.
But I didn't watch the game anyway. I haven't watched any games. So
after I texted you, you didn't turn that game on.
I was watching Women of Wrestling. I went and watched the first 3 fights. I couldn't
figure out what you were saying. Mm-hmm. You said something about women of wrestling, I think.
Yeah. WOW.
No, it's hockey players fighting.
No, it was WOW.
I thought you were getting, you were getting mixed up at what you were looking at.
I watched the 3 fights because I figured something was going to go down because of the butthurt people. And then I saw the 3 fights. And then I flipped over to Women of Wrestling.
9 seconds later.
Yeah, and I watched the Women of Wrestling, and then I came back when it was 2-1. I saw there was a couple minutes left. I said, let's go see if Canada can tie this game up. And then it was 3-1, and then I went and watched something else.
Well, I must say, first of all, probably the most exciting opening 7 minutes of a first period maybe that I've ever experienced.
I got to give it that.
Okay?
That was pretty good.
First of all, they do the national anthems. Respectfully, the Montreal PA announcer asked them to respect players' countries as well as their national anthems.
And they booed them.
And we booed them. We booed the United States national anthem. By the way, the guy who sang the national anthem,
his name is Lou. They were saying Lou.
For both of them. He was amazing.
Yeah, I saw.
And that's one of the best Canadian national anthems I've ever heard sung. Like the words, everything was perfect. It was French, then English. Fabulous. Absolutely. That guy should be singing it every game.
Yeah, who was the guy?
He was a military person.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm not
from Canada?
Sure. Yeah, from Canada.
Okay.
And he sang them both extremely well. And then drop of the puck. And off we go. Tkachuk, fight, boom, he loses. Drop of the puck, off we go. His brother won.
So there you go.
Right? And then drop of the puck.
2 out of 3 falls.
Drop of the puck, another fight down by the face-off circle. Miller. And Miller gets his, he gets wiped.
So they won.
We won the fights, 2-1.
Okay, 2-1. 2 falls out of 3.
And then Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid scored his first goal for Canada with about 6 minutes and 30 seconds gone.
Yeah, I saw that goal. I saw a replay. Wow. What a nice goal.
Like Connor McDavid, seriously. Nobody can touch him. He has a half step more than anyone else in the NHL.
Yeah, it's amazing, the goal. I got to admit that.
And he is truly remarkable. I must say that.
Yeah, he got hammered.
Well, that happens. But he is a half step ahead of everyone in the NHL.
Yeah, he's good.
Now, the Tkachuk boys, I believe, took inspiration from their father from about 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
He did the same thing.
Who, Walter? What's his name?
Keith. Let me find
Keith.
This so we have it correct.
Yeah, Keith Tkachuk. Oh, he got in a fight before the game started?
United States versus Canada.
Well, he might have told him, hey, listen, go out there and do just what I did because that's straight out.
Well, that's exactly what he did. So in 1996,
Was he Patrick Waugh?
Keith Tkachuk dropped the gloves with Claude Lemieux 20 seconds into the game between USA and Canada. 29 years later, his two sons, Matthew and Brady, dropped the gloves in USA versus Canada 3 seconds into the game. Like father, like sons.
Wow. Amazing. You know what? I'm going to just move this camera just a touch, Johnny boy, just to get you in there a little bit. How's that? Okay.
Absolutely.
There you go.
So I mean, these guys, these Tkachuk guys, they knew what they were doing. This was their idea to get into Canada's head. Did it work? I don't know. They won, but
so I don't know if that was why.
You know, we seem to have a pretty solid 7 minutes. I think if we could have played the rest of the game like we played those first 7 minutes, we would have won the game.
No, there you go.
But at the same point,
it was interesting.
You had already brought up a great point.
Women are wrestling.
No.
Oh, okay.
Goaltending for Team Canada.
Well, yeah, Hellebuck. I mean, come on, that guy's on top of his game right now. He's the best goaltender in the NHL, and the reason Jets are where they are.
Absolutely, and I think he's won the Vezina Trophy twice.
Yeah, and he's going to win it again.
He's on the way.
He's on the way. So, I don't think Binnington was as good.
That is our challenge. That is going to be our challenge. is helping Binnington to win games.
Are they going to start Sammy?
No. And the most important thing about Binnington is stopping the pucks that he should.
Yes.
If he can stop the pucks that he should, we can win.
Well, he definitely has to have a big game. Saturday nights when it comes. Is it Saturday?
No, it's tomorrow night.
It's tomorrow night. Yeah, tomorrow night it all comes. See, I haven't watched any games.
Because we're playing Saturday night in Ottawa.
That's right. We're playing in Ottawa. We're going to win that game.
Absolutely.
But, I haven't watched them all. And I don't care.
You know what? I haven't watched many of them. In fact, that game I was listening to. And I'm going to tell you, 2 seconds into that game, after like the first fight is happening, the guys who were in the box covering the game in Montreal, the announcers, they said, like, phones were lighting up. Everybody's phone was lighting up, and everybody's immediate reaction was, there will be no more All-Star game. The All-Star game is finished.
Right.
That this is going to be the setup from now on, going forward, on years when the NHL does not participate in the Olympics.
Yeah, and I agree, because the All-Star game sucks. It's terrible. It's in the skills competition. I mean, this is nonsense. This is Bettman's crappy idea. This figure four, whatever they call it, figure four leg lock. It's better than the All-Star.
That's a wrestling move, isn't it?
But I'm still mad Russia's in it.
Well, that's going to change very shortly, I think, once that Ukraine gets their territory back and Russia figures out what the deal is. And there's no more people fighting about all the resources that are in the Ukraine, like all their precious metals.
See, everybody was telling me about Russia, why they weren't in it, human rights abuses, killing, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going, well, the players are in North America playing. They have nothing to do with that. Why wouldn't they be able to play in this tournament? And then somebody said, well, the four, this Fantastic Four, whatever they call it, is only those four teams.
One of my favorite comic books, by the way.
There you go. It was only these four teams anyway. It didn't include Russia or Czechia or any of these other places that the players come from. So these were the only four that were supposed to be in it, and Russia wasn't part of that from the get-go. And I'm going, well, that's crazy. There's some fantastic Russians in the NHL. As a matter of fact, one of them's going to break Gretzky's record pretty soon. So to not include Russia, I mean,
wait a second. Demidov hasn't even started playing yet.
Well, he's going to break both the
exactly.
Records. Yeah. But I mean, to let these guys play, it's kind of crazy. They're over here in North America. They don't want them in this tournament. They shouldn't want them in the NHL if it's something morally wrong. So my opinion is, don't let them play in the NHL either.
Whoa! We need Demidov, okay?
Slavkovsky, isn't he?
Slow down on that one.
Yeah,
Slavkovsky?
but I mean, where's he from? He's from Russia, isn't he? I know, maybe just Chechnya or Czechia, Czechoslovakia. He's some kind of Slovenian, right? Where's he from? I don't know.
Oh,
Czechia.
Let's look it up so that we don't make mistakes and people correct us. Okay.
Yeah, well, they get mad at me. I say stuff and everybody gets mad at me, but it's just the way it is, right? And I think they should let the Russians play. I'd like to see all the Russians. They got great players, but yeah, I don't know. Who knows? These wacky people. So you're going to look up where Slavkovsky's from. I think he's from Czechia. Drew Deeks knows. I know that because that's his favorite player. And he's from one of those countries, Czechia.
He is a Slovak.
Slovakian. There you okay. There you go. He's from Slovenia, Slovakia. No, Slovenia is another country.
He was born in Kosice, Slovakia.
There you go. Okay, so that's what he is.
Only 20 years of age.
I know. It's amazing how good he is. And you know what he said? I saw him talking about the Kachuk brothers. And he goes, that's the way I want to play.
And he's
got the size. Not so much fighting, but just that tough, that tough game, the forward we need to get out there and hammer people around and be a factor in every game, whether they score or not. They're a factor in every game. These two guys. That's all there is to it, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what he wants to be like. You said. So I hope he does become like them because, man, oh man, when they get out on the ice, they're playing. They're not fooling around. These guys, and they took it to the Canadians with before the puck even dropped. Win or lose, they don't care.
There's one particular player for the States, Gunsel. Jake Gunsel.
Jake Gunsel, yeah.
Jake Gunsel, I mean, wouldn't you like to have Jake Gunsel on your team?
Yeah, he played for Pittsburgh Penguins.
You know?
I don't know who he plays for now.
He is 30 years of age.
I know, he's unbelievable.
So think about this. Think about Slavkovsky's 20. We have all these young guys. And this guy, Jake Gunsel, is playing his best hockey at 30.
He's good.
So it took him, I mean, he's steadily improved as, he's been really good for the last 3-4 years. But it took him a good 4 years to really get his groove on.
Yeah, he was good on Penguins with Crosby.
And we don't realize, like, we're sometimes so impatient about the talent that we have on our team. The fact that, like, Slav is 20 years old. We've got, Demidov, he's 19. We've got Reinbacher, who's finally going to hit the ice tonight in Laval with the Rockets.
Yes.
Who's another 19-year-old. Like, these guys have to have 3 or 4 years before we can really expect them to show their potential.
And you know who else is skating?
And reach their ceiling.
You know who else is skating?
No, I don't.
Heineman.
Yes, Heineman is. Yeah, he skated yesterday before practice
with the blue no contact jersey.
He was out there by himself yesterday before the practice.
And they're saying that he could be back sooner than later because the MSL said, "Ooh, yeah, if he's out there in that jersey, that means he's not that far from coming back."
Not only that, Heineman. I mean, think about when we had our streak. Who was playing for us? Think about when we went in the dumper for the last 9 games.
Who
wasn't playing for us?
Heineman.
Absolutely.
So he makes a difference on those bottom lines, for sure.
It's a collective experience. It's the team playing well collectively. And that's what MSL has been preaching. And we need everybody firing together. And Heineman obviously means a lot to this team.
He does. He really does, because when you start losing even these third and fourth line players, then you got to start shuffling things around. And they're not as effective. He's always a threat, and he's always on the ice. Doing what he does the best, skating and putting the puck in the net if he can. So we miss guys like that, especially on this team where we are. We'll talk about this later. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go?
And what's important too is a guy like Heineman. His shot goal percentage is very high, but he doesn't take enough shots. So now it's up to MSL to figure out where to place Heineman within the team so that he has more of an opportunity of taking more shots on net.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He's an excellent player.
An excellent player. Big difference. So what do we got now? We got to still do trivia. Yeah, Habs trivia. And this one, I guarantee you nobody's going to get.
No.
Nobody. Even Vinny, who don't. You're not going to get this, Vinny. So
that's a challenge.
You better go get your wife and ask her the answer.
Sounds like you're throwing down the gauntlet or something here.
Yeah, well, it's a tough one. So, Habs have won 24 Stanley Cups. They retired 15 numbers while sending in excess of 50 players and 10 executives to the Hockey Hall of Fame.
There should be a Hockey Hall of Fame just for the Montreal Canadiens.
So they could fill it.
Right? Seriously.
They
I mean,
could fill
like,
it.
there should be like the National Hockey League Hall of Fame and the Montreal Canadiens National Hockey League Hall of Fame. Yeah, absolutely.
The accolades for this team, this one franchise, is off the charts. Hard to believe. Hard to believe it. They have so many.
Not really, because if you're from Quebec and you're French Canadian,
Well, we
you believe it. You know it.
We know it. The question is, who was the very first Montreal Canadian player to win a Hart Trophy?
And the Hart Trophy is the best player, correct?
The Hart Trophy is awarded to the player judged to be the most valuable to his team.
And when was that first given out?
I can't tell you that. That's part of the
You don't know? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I know when.
Oh.
But I'm not telling anybody when because...
That's kind of mean, you know?
Well, it has to do with the answer.
You're hurting my feelings.
If I tell you when, it'll affect your decision on the answer.
Well, that's why I asked.
Say if I said it was 1948, then all the
Rocket Richard.
All the teams before that wouldn't,
I don't have to worry about like Howie Morenz.
No, and then I would have to say like, what if it was like it only came into existence in 1965?
Yeah, then I might say Jean Beliveau or Henri Richard.
So that's why the date is no, we're not saying that. So who was the first Montreal Canadian player to win a Hart Trophy? Number 1,
Jacques Plante.
Nels Stewart.
Nels Stewart. Wow, now we're going into ancient history.
Number 2, Herb Gardner.
I'll take ancient history for 400, please.
Alec. 3, Jacques Plante. 4, Jean Beliveau.
Wow.
Who was the first Montreal Canadian to win a Hart Trophy? So to know this question, you have to know when the Hart Trophy came into the league.
Absolutely. Well, like let's think about Vezina. So we know George Vezina was an early Montreal Canadian goaltender who I don't think ever won the Vezina Trophy because it wasn't named, at least at that point, until after he moved on. And Vezina played in like 1920-ish, I guess. He played in that time frame. So they probably started naming trophies probably a little later. Like 40s, 50s. Okay. I don't even, that's my essence of it. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said Jean Beliveau and
Jacques Plante.
And
Nels Stewart, Herb Gardner.
Yeah, I gotta believe both of those guys won a Hart Trophy.
Well, I would say Beliveau for sure.
I mean, Plante.
Even Plante for
Plante
sure.
won 6 Vezina trophies in a row.
Yeah,
I gotta think he won 1 in the 50s if it was being given out then. Okay,
I would agree.
But I think it was given out before that. So Nels Stewart is a familiar name, and Herb Gardner. And I know that name too, but I don't hear it in my brain as well as Nels Stewart. I hear that name bigger. So I'm going to select Nels Stewart.
Okay, so out there in TV land, viewer land, who was first Montreal Canadian player to win the Hart Trophy? And we have 4. I'll give you the 4 again. Number 1, Nels Stewart. Number 2, Herb Gardner. Number 3, Jacques Plante. Or number 4, Jean Beliveau. Now, the correct answer is Herb Gardner. But, like last week, you were kind of right, but you weren't.
Right.
You're on the right track. And the first player to win for the Montreal Canadiens was Herb Gardner.
Right.
But Nels Stewart won it with the Montreal Maroons.
Ah.
So you were on the right track.
So did he win it before?
Yes. He won it the year before Herb Gardner.
And when was the first year it was given out?
The first year it was given out. Okay. Now let me just go over here. Now the Hart Memorial Trophy was first donated to the NHL by Dr. David Hart and was first awarded in 1924.
Wow.
Named after Dr. David Hart, father of Cecil Hart, a former coach of the Habs.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's given to the player deemed the most valuable to his team. Gretzky won it 9 times, 8 consecutively.
That's pretty big.
That's amazing. And the last winner? Last year?
Last year, I'm going to guess it was Florida Panthers.
No, it was Nathan McKinnon.
Okay.
For the Habs. But how about this little trick question here? Nell Stewart did win a Hart Trophy, but it was in the 1925-26 season and was with the Montreal Maroons. The very next year, the 26-27 season, Montreal Canadiens defenseman Herb Gardner won it for the Habs, making him the first Montreal Canadiens player to win the award. Now, this guy's an interesting guy. I don't know if you know anything about him.
Herb Gardner?
Yeah.
I don't really. I mean, I probably have, like, probably when we were like 10, 12, I was reading stuff about these people, but it's gone now.
Well, he was a remarkable guy. He was born in Winnipeg in 1891. A little bit before your octogenarian time.
Absolutely.
He played senior hockey in Winnipeg, Manitoba, before moving on to other pursuits. So he got out of hockey, began a career as a banker in 1909. And while he was a banker, he played for the Winnipeg Bankers Hockey League, and they won the title, his team. Then he took 4 years off of hockey, didn't play at all. And he took a job as surveyor for CP Rail. During World War I, he joined the 2nd Battalion Canadian Mounted Rifles of the Canadian Expeditionary Forces and faced several medical issues while serving, including jaundice, pleurisy, and respiratory ailments. First World War was a nasty war.
And he's about 25 in 1914.
Yeah, he was born in 1891. So, no, 1891, he would have only been, 23?
23.
22, 23. He was also wounded in combat, shot in the nose in 1916 in the Battle of Montserrat. He ended his military career as a lieutenant, and he was discharged in 1918. The next year, he returned to hockey in 1919, playing for the Calgary Wanderers, then shifted to the Calgary Tigers. He turned pro at the age of 29.
Yeah, he's a late bloomer.
In 21, 22, and in the Western Hockey League, he played and then was taken by the Canadiens in 1926 when the Western Canadian Hockey League folded. At age 35, Montreal picked him up.
Exactly.
We talk about Slafkovsky, 20 years old, and these guys 18. Well, this guy didn't even play till he was 35.
Another Johnny Bauer.
Yeah, and he showed himself to be a top defender in the NHL. That day's NHL anyway. Playing on a rebuilding Habs team, he was said to have played every minute of every game for the Habs that year.
Amazing.
He was on the ice the whole game for 44 games.
That's when the NHL was a beer league.
Yeah. A feat that got him the name of the Iron Man of hockey. He played every minute of every game that year.
Well, no disrespect, but when you played defense, I don't think you went past the red line back then.
No, you really didn't.
Okay?
Yeah, you stayed home.
It was a 60-foot game.
He was loaned to Chicago. They loaned players, I guess, back then for the 1928-29 season and recalled in February of 1929 by the Habs finishing his playing career with the Canadiens. He did go on to coach other teams, including the Philadelphia Ramblers, an affiliate of the New York Rangers. He died in Philly in 1972 at the age of 80 and was inducted to the Hockey Hall of Fame in 1958, and he's in the Manitoba Hall of Fame as well.
Excellent. Amazing.
So what a crazy story.
Yeah.
35 years old, playing every minute of every game for 44 games.
A different time.
A different time.
And it's funny, you talk about loaning players. It only makes sense, you get to the rink and 5 guys are sick. So we got, we can't ice a team unless you give us a couple of players. Okay.
Yeah. I think back in the day too, there just wasn't as many players. People had to go to work there. 1932, he would have been 35 and 32.
Hockey was considered like trivial.
Yeah, it was. But in 1932, you're in the middle of the Great Depression, right? So people were trying to feed their families and that. They didn't have time to play hockey, so
Let
35,
alone,
here he is.
for sure.
It made a big difference, right, with the wars and everything, during the wars and stuff.
So many things.
What an interesting story, though. I never knew this story about him until I looked for the first Canadian to win the Hart.
Unbelievable. I mean, they were. I'm sure a lot of guys back in the day, like to be a scout, you were walking around, you'd see a guy in the street who maybe was a particular size. You ask him if he could skate, and if he said yes, you'd be trying to take him to the rink.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine 35 years old today, a guy just starting his NHL career?
It wouldn't happen.
It couldn't. I mean, you just couldn't keep up.
Yeah, you couldn't get in.
Couldn't keep up. I mean, guys can still play. There are guys who are still playing. Obviously,
there are a few,
but overall, I mean, they don't start at 35. That's crazy, but
doesn't happen. Doesn't work that way.
Those were those days. Okay, so there you go. That's the guy. Unbelievable. What a great story.
Fabulous.
And it's fabulous.
Absolutely.
This is the history we have. We go back a long way, So we have these.
Oh, there's so much
kind of crazy stories.
There's so much.
Some video comments.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Vince Hudon. Numbskull 9, Paul calls it. LMAO. That's funny. So I said we went through the Lucky 11, and then we came back with the Numbskull 9, and Vinny got a kick out of that. That's not funny. We lost.
MSL didn't get a kick.
No, neither did I, to be honest with you. Vinny Hudon. Andrei Markov is my answer. He was right. We asked about that last week, and that was about the player that started and ended his career with the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, let's see if he gets this one right.
Yeah, well, that's going to be interesting, Vinny. Did you get that one right?
I'll be impressed.
Yep. Vinny also said, didn't get a lot of comments. I guess people aren't just not, watching the show that much, maybe during the Fantastic Four or whatever it's called. So we didn't get a lot of comments other than Vinny. He's always with us. What did you guys think of the Four Nations game last night between Canada and Sweden? Can't wait to see the U.S. versus Canada on Saturday night. Well, I didn't watch it, so I have no thoughts on it. John, did you watch Canada and Sweden?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the entire game, but I did see some highlights, and I was impressed that there was one player who was out on the ice for like 5 minutes and 35 seconds.
From who? Sweden?
Yeah. Didn't leave the ice. And while he was on the ice, his team scored 2 goals and he got an assist.
His name wasn't Herb Gardner, was it?
It sure wasn't. It was Patrick Laine.
Laine. Ah.
So Patrick Laine's coach for Sweden, right, or Finland, kept his player out for 5.5 minutes. As they were playing 6-on-5, trying to get back in the game. And while he was out there, they scored 2 goals, and they came very close.
Wow.
Laine got an assist, and he played well.
There you go.
And one of his...
Marty, are you listening?
Exactly.
He needs more time.
He needs more ice time.
There you go. How come the Swedish coach, the Finnish coach knew that?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't have enough players to put out.
By the G.
Right?
Well, that's fabulous, and I hope when he comes back, Marty leaves him out there for a little while.
Well, there is a little talk about maybe a line change.
I would not mind seeing that at all.
Laine playing with 2 guys on the first line.
I don't. You know what? That would be phenomenal. That would be fabulous.
CC and Susie.
I would love to see it.
And they're all right-hand shots. CC's spoken about it. He'd love to play with Laine.
Yep. Let's pack the first line.
And it could be very, very interesting. I think we should try it.
Yeah, well, listen, at this point of the season, we got nothing to lose by playing with the lines and seeing what happens because, as it stands now, I mean, we still aren't out of it mathematically, but it's going to be a tough haul. But if this line never got together and started putting pucks in the net, that would be phenomenal.
That is the key.
I hope it happens. I never heard that, but I'm glad I have now. I'll tell you
you're Numbskull 9, right? We were outscored 37-18.
Yeah, there you go.
That's like 2-1.
2-1.
Doesn't work. Can't win games that way.
No. So let's get a powerhouse line. And the second line won't be bad. I mean, Newhook and Doc and Slavkovsky, that's not a bum line neither.
I like to see them do, we play 4 lines pretty equally. I'd like to, and no disrespect to the third and fourth line, but I'd like to see the first line maybe get rotated a little differently at times. Like play the first line, play the second line, play the third line, play the fourth line, come back with the first, second, maybe first again. Then bring in third and fourth. Then bring in second, bring first. And get the first and second lines seeing just a little more ice maybe than 3 and 4.
Yeah,
because three and four are going to get ice, when there's PKs.
I agree. And, it's so important for us to get the first goal. And if you got lines running like that, first, second, third, first, just playing our best lines more.
Giving them more ice together.
Giving them more ice, and let's get that first goal.
And get them playing against different lines. I don't think necessarily another team especially is going to match those lines, especially if you have home ice advantage. You got the last change.
Right.
So you can experiment a bit that way. I mean, and we know special teams this year have been amazing. They've improved dramatically. But if we're playing more 5-on-5 hockey, then we've got to do something to shake it up.
Yeah, we got to score 5-on-5.
Yeah, but we got to shake up what's going on 5-on-5 because what we're doing now isn't working.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea to play our better players more, like Laine and the guys who we depend on, Susie and Caulfield. Why not? That's what teams do.
That's right. Laine had 3 assists in the tournament, which was 3rd overall. Only 2 players were ahead of him. He was tied with a few, and one of them, of course, was who's our great hockey player, our captain for Team Canada, plays for Pittsburgh, plays for the Penguins. Who's
Crosby?
Crosby.
Oh,
so Crosby was ahead of.
There you go.
Of him on for assists.
So, I mean, I like that idea, and we've got nothing to lose now moving into the end of the season. Let's go. We're probably sellers. So let's just do this. I mean, do this kind of stuff, Marty. Now's your chance to experiment without worrying about hurting the team. You're not going to hurt this team now. We can only maybe move ahead in the standings and have a playoff spot, and we're not out yet. It's looking bad, though. It's tough to make up that kind of ground with the 28 games to go or something like that. So
for sure.
So why not, Marty? Come on, Marty, smart up. Smarty. We want to call you Smarty, not Marty. So be smart. So I think at this point in time, we are sellers. I think that's pretty obvious. And the big number they're talking about is Evans. What to do with Jake?
Absolutely. He's got to go.
We can't pay him $5.5 million.
Well, first of all, I think he'd play for $3.5 million, but he wants 5 years.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep anybody for 5 years anymore, unless there's somebody like Slavkovsky or Demidov or Susie or CC.
Not our 3rd or 4th line players.
Can't happen.
No, we did that with Gallagher, these long contracts, and they just, they tend to become boat anchors after a while.
They become cumbersome.
Mm-hmm.
We lose our flexibility.
Yeah, sometimes they're hard to move too. I mean, Evans having a good year this year, but next year he has a crappy year at $3.5-4 million or whatever he wants. Long term, then we're stuck because these guys are really hard to move unless they're doing something and proving themselves. And we found that out with Dvorak and all these other guys that we had.
I mean, it's going to come down to Jake Evans saying, "I want to play in Montreal for another 3 years and maybe see what happens," or I'm looking for a 5-year deal. Jake Evans now hasn't played his best hockey in the last 3 or 4 games. And of course, we've had that horrible 9-game stretch where we, as a team, didn't do well. Yeah. Therefore, it lowers his value when it comes to Ken Hughes making a trade. So, but he's got to move him because he's going to lose him.
Either or.
So we might not get the first round draft choice that we would have liked, but we'll see.
Yeah, so he's definitely going to be on the tail. Armia is another one they're talking about. For sure, those two.
Yeah, because Armia has value right now and is
Yes.
playing extremely well.
Yep. And somebody else I saw mentioning Logan Mailloux.
Really? I haven't
I've
heard that.
his name being moved around for some players.
I mean, Mailloux and Beck right now are back in Laval.
Yeah.
You know, playing in Laval. They've got 2 games before, I think, the weekend to play against the Manitoba Moose.
I think they're in first place now, Laval, too.
They're doing extremely well.
They're doing real good.
And
Primo's got won 10 or 11 games in a row.
And tonight, Reinbacher.
Bring Primo back.
Reinbacher plays his first hockey game tonight.
That's going to be
since he was injured for the Laval Rocket against the Manitoba Moose.
That's going to be very interesting. I wonder if I can get that game. I'd like to watch that game.
There are 25 games left for that the Laval team.
Yeah, I'd like to see Logan Mailloux. I'd like to see him play, and I'd like to see Reinbacher, see how he does, because we all kind of forgot about him. You know, he's like a lost soldier for us. We picked him high, you know, in the draft, and over, you know, maybe some other players we should have picked. And now he got hurt. So now he's back, and I want to see how he works, because this is supposed to be one of our main defensemen going forward here. Like, that's what they're touting him to be. And Logan Mailloux was the same, but I don't know. Logan Mailloux has never kind of worked his way in, even with Gooley injured and Struble not having the best games. We haven't seen Logan Mailloux step up. He played a couple games.
Still early for Logan Mailloux.
It's still early,
I believe. But depending on what we're being offered, anybody's game.
It's business.
Now, this team of Laval Rocket, their last, I'd say, 17 games since like in 2025, they are 13 wins and 4 losses.
Primo.
So they are on a streak, much like we were before the Numbskull Night.
Yeah, bring Primo back. Bring Primo. He's found his game.
Listen, we had a new goalie at practice yesterday.
Who do we have? Jake Allen?
Carol St. Laurent.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
St. Laurent.
Carol St. Laurent. I love that St. Laurent. Great name, eh?
She's a press secretary for somebody.
Carol St. Laurent, and he played in practice with Habs because, you know, Monty's...
Where'd he come from?
Monty's having oysters in Boston.
Where'd he come from?
He actually is 34 years old.
No way.
Wow. He's played a lot of hockey around, like in different leagues and everything else. And currently, he is a goalie coach.
He's like Herb Gardner's age.
He is a goalie coach for a private high school in the Montreal area.
He doesn't drive the Zamboni too, does he?
No.
Okay.
But they needed somebody to put in the net.
Well, that's amazing.
They don't want to disrupt what's going on in Laval right now.
How do you do?
So, well, it's practice. You know, Europe. You know what practice is like as a goaltender. You're a standing target.
Yeah,
Come on,
it's a shooting match.
Exactly.
You're a rubber stopper.
You know.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So that was kind of interesting to hear.
So yeah, they don't want to disrupt Laval right now.
You know, Montreal actually needed somebody to loan them players for practice yesterday. They only had 14 skaters.
Where are the rest of them?
Well, you've got
Jamaica.
You've got two Finnish guys who are on leave until Friday.
Yeah.
Armia and
Laine.
Heineman is skating, but not with the team.
That's right.
Gooley is out.
Yeah, Gooley's out. Yeah.
Anderson had a spa day.
Where's Struble?
Pez has a lower body. Struble, I believe, is might be playing with Laval. And of course, Monty is, shucking oysters.
Shucking oysters.
Yeah.
He's shucking oysters in Boston.
Exactly.
Oh, Monty Bull.
But MSL, you know, he is... he acknowledged, like, Laine said something, I guess he made kind of a remark when he was being interviewed about ice time, and Marty said, you know... I'm focusing on collective play, but I want to push Patty if he shows me he wants to play more time. And so it's kind of a yin yang, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you show me, show
And
me, don't
then-
tell me,
And
right?
I give you the time.
Exactly, and I will give you more time. So he's also saying that there will be a major shift in the mentality of this team for the second half. I have
Okay.
no idea what he means by that.
Me neither, because it's not the second half. There's only like 25 games left.
So
or so.
that's what
we
he's
play 52
that's what he's
games.
saying. The All-Star break was always kind of like
halftime,
the halfway point.
Well, let's see what he does here. Marty's had 2 weeks to think about it, and I know he says if he earns it, he'll get ice time. But why not just give it to him and see if the guy can produce?
And see, we're also missing Beck and Mayu from the practice.
Yes,
because they're playing in Laval.
They're back in Laval. Yep.
So there you go.
And but I'm happy for Primo. Maybe he's just an AHL goalie. That's the best.
That is a very good summation. I'm totally with you there.
And I don't even think it's that he can't play in the NHL. I think that jump just is too much for his mind or something. He's not mentally ready to be able to do that or something. Because
remember too, the team took off at one point there.
Yeah.
Collectively when he left. And now the team started to go in the dumper. Like, nobody's, Dobas, nobody's yelling about Dobas right now because the team came back down to earth a bit.
Yeah.
Now Marty believes this team still has that in them to have that type of run. And we're going to find out if Marty can bring it from them.
Well, the good thing is about all that, and I said this last week, is that we have seen what they're capable of. The consistency of being capable isn't from game to game, even period to period yet. But we see that we have something here.
And see, I think
something there.
That's going to come when guys like Owen Beck, Laine Hudson, Demidov, Slavkowski have had 4 to 5 years experience, solid experience playing in the NHL. And then the cream should rise to the top consistently.
Yeah, even Doc's on the hook here.
He's on the bubble.
He's on the bubble. Talking about Doc as well.
Anybody is on the bubble depending on what you get presented. And I also believe what you said about maybe Primo's this level. We've expected a lot from Patrick Laine because he came out and he scored 10 goals in 8 games or something like that.
Yeah, 10 power play goals.
He had a lot of production. But if you look back and you compare Patrick Laine to Austin Matthews, I mean, there's a period of a year and a half where Laine didn't even go to the rink.
Yeah.
And we still have to acknowledge that.
He's almost like a rookie. He's had so much time off.
Exactly.
And the time he had off was mental, which is even tougher because you're getting over things that sometimes are beyond your control. It's affected by circumstance. Like when you're injured, you're injured. You go through rehab and everything else, but your mind's still where it should be. But with somebody with a problem like that, it's a little bit different because there's external factors that affect you really differently than, say, a physical injury.
For sure. I mean, a physical injury, we can look at certain things and say, oh, the bone is grafting, we mended your arm, and everything looks good. Oh, we might have to do something to change that, whatever. But to look into the brain, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, and so many factors affect you, just in the world, right? Even though you don't read the papers or listen to the sports people like us or anything, it's still out there. It's hard to just ignore it.
And there's also family. There's family things. There's so many things.
Family things.
History, how you growing up, so many different things.
Yeah, so it's a little bit tougher, but to be mentally strong, and that could be what Primo's problem is too. He's got the AHL figured out, but he just can't figure out the NHL. He just might be. It could be a mental thing because we know he can play goal and he can stop pucks, and we've seen it.
He definitely
won 10 in a row.
You know what? He could maybe play in the NHL, but can he be an elite goalie in the NHL? Can he be much like what Carey Price was.
Now without the mental aspect.
For the Montreal Canadiens back in the day. I mean, Price gave you the opportunity to win. He couldn't win every game for you. He won maybe a few games for you, but he gave you the opportunity to win. And then it's up to the collective rest of that team to make it happen.
Yeah, maybe Primo just needs a little run in the NHL, and then all of a sudden he's got it. Like, you never know what makes you, what makes
you never know when it's going to turn.
Especially a goaltender, because goaltenders are kind of mental anyway.
Easy.
I'm not pointing at anybody. I don't want to point at anybody.
Don't you point fingers at me, you hurt my feelings.
Well, you're Patrick Laine. So, where are we now? Well, we're going to be playing
Niagara Falls.
We're in Niagara Falls. We're going to be playing the Senators and the Canes are next to. One at home, the Canes. One on the road, the Sens. I think we're going to beat the Sens.
I'd love to beat Ottawa. It's an important game. Obviously, they're in our division.
Our first game back, I think it would be big if we could beat them, and I think we could beat them. I mean, they're playing better, but it's something that we just have to get over. That's another mental thing because we have a tough time with Ottawa, even though they're not that great a team.
And we need to set a tone. Now, who's going to play goal for that game?
I got to say Sammy.
Sammy's stuck in Boston.
Well, he'll be back by Saturday.
He's eating snails. Yeah, but he's got like Thursday night. Think about this. Sammy's had to ride it out
on Thursday.
Sit on the bench again,
Fly home Friday.
Pull those slivers out of his butt, right? And then, fly home Friday. Yeah. So he hasn't had any time off for those 2 weeks where everybody's been like drinking pina coladas and enjoying themselves for the first week.
He's had lots of time off.
Yeah, but he can't.
Well, let me put it this way.
He's stuck in a hotel room.
Let's put it this way. If Canada wins, Dobish gets the start.
Because there's a party on Thursday night?
There's going to be a big party. Everybody will be there. And then he's got to fly home and get ready for it. No, he won't play. But if Canada loses, he'll be playing Saturday night.
So for me, I'm playing Dobis because he's practicing with me.
Okay.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Okay, so you're playing Dobis, and then you're going to play Sammy against the Canes?
Absolutely.
And then Shammy against the Canes. Okay, and I say it depends on if Canada wins or not. If there's a big party. If not, he'll fly right home, get ready for the game on Saturday, Sammy. He hasn't played, so maybe you shouldn't put him in right away because he's rusty.
Exactly.
That's another point.
Exactly.
He hasn't stopped the puck or even been in the goal for 2 weeks.
He's the third string goalie. He's not even dressing.
No, he's not dressing. Can't dress.
So
He had a picture of him in his equipment, though, I saw.
Did they? That's so sweet.
For a picture, yeah. But that was it.
If there's a party, he'll be behind the bar probably, serving drinks.
Yeah. Sammy, get behind the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
Sammy, stop a couple drinks, will you?
Yeah.
But, you shouldn't laugh, though. I mean, at least he was asked to be on the team, and a lot of other goalies weren't.
You know what? It's still an experience of being in a whole different situation. I mean, you go to practice, and you've got Connor McDavid coming in on you. Like, not just once, not just, like, all the time.
Yeah, you're playing with a bunch of winners.
Exactly.
So maybe that is catchy.
That's what we hope.
That's what we hope. It's catchy. It's
attitude.
Catchy,
attitude. Habits. Habits.
Fabulous.
So
you never know. I mean, I don't know.
Routine,
what do you think?
scheduling.
I don't know. What's MSL? That's a good question about that because
Dobis.
Yeah, I don't know. MSL. Who knows? I can never predict. We can never predict what he's going to do with goaltending ever.
Expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected, and that would be Dobish. Most people would be expecting Sammy to come back and play. Hot off the Canadian win tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
So
I can't wait. Now, what I really want to know, and I hope everybody who is out there listening, obviously, you love hockey. Most likely, you're Canadian. Most likely, you're going to watch the game on Thursday night. What I want to know is, what do people think is going to happen in that first minute? Are we going to see more fights?
I don't know. The McTavish boys or what's their name? Kachuk boys aren't even playing.
Are we going to see more fights? So maybe is Canada going to start a fight right away?
Who?
I don't know.
Who? Well, if Wi-Fi was there, I'd say, well,
If
maybe.
yeah, for sure. You know, I
He'd
mean,
be out there.
like, what is going to happen?
I don't think anything is.
It's going to be interesting.
I think the Americans are going to handle the Canadian anthem.
Listen, there was a lot of yeah, I agree with you there.
They didn't boo it against Finland because who cares?
Well, not only that, they didn't sing it right either. There was no French in it.
Oh no, really?
So, yeah, really. So that insults me.
That's an insult right there.
Okay. So number two, I really think that the pace of that game was amazing. That first half of that first period. So I want to see pace out of Canada.
It was a close game. It was a close game. I mean, it was a 3-1, 2-1 game, then empty net. So I don't think you're going to see any kind of a blowout here or anything.
No, but I want to see.
I think you're going to see a tight.
I want to see a fast
game.
I want to see a fast game. I want to see pace.
I'm going to see heavy hits too. I think there's going to be a lot of heavy hitting. Just the way the USA plays, they play that kind of a game, and the Canadians have a team that can hit back. So
exactly,
I don't know if you're going to see them dropping the gloves.
I don't think so. In fact, I would think Cooper's going to say, "Listen, if anybody drops the gloves, you don't drop yours."
Yeah,
I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see that again. That was just the one time there. But I think the Boston Bruins fans, they're going to be booing. I can't believe they're not going to be.
It's going to be loud there.
It's going to be loud, and they're going to be booing. I really think they're going to give it back to the Canadians. Against Finland, but against Canada, I think you're going to see them.
It's going to be big.
They're going to be booing.
They want to win this game badly.
Oh, yeah. This is for whether we become a 51st state or not.
This is bragging rights. In fact, I understand the United States team wants and has asked for the who's the president of the United States right now? Elon Musk. They want Elon Musk to come to the game.
That'd be nice.
Well, it's nice to have a president at your game. I mean, one was at the Super Bowl.
It'd be nice for Trump to come, and it would be nice for President Trump to go.
Isn't Musk the president?
No,
I saw him behind a desk somewhere.
No.
I get confused sometimes with what's going on down there.
There's a lot of confused people in the United States right now. Believe me.
There sure are.
But I wish Trump would come to the game. That would be awesome.
They have asked for him to attend the game.
Have they?
They seriously, yes.
You never know. He shows up to stuff.
I don't know.
At Daytona 500.
Well, I just want to find out if he's a hockey fan.
I think who's just there.
I mean, he likes the golf. He had the Panthers there recently.
Yeah, he had the Panthers, Florida Panthers in there. Yeah, he's a hockey fan. Now, I don't know if he's going to show up at this game. He might be at a Stanley Cup game if Washington's in it.
Absolutely.
I think he would be, right?
Why not?
Yeah, it would make sense. So,
with Ovechkin and Putin.
Okay, so the 2012 Le Semaine dernier. I can't pick any. I'm going to say Heineman skating is interesting. See what MSL's going to do against Ottawa on Saturday. Sammy's well rested. We'll see if he gets the start or if Dovish gets the start. There's really how you pick 3 stars. I like Laine playing 5 minutes. Now that you mentioned that, I like that.
So if I'm going to pick 3 stars, I'm going to pick Logan Mailloux, Owen Beck, and Caden Primo.
How about Herb Gardner?
Caden Primo.
How about Herb
Gardner? They're all playing extremely well for the Laval Rocket. I hope they beat
Herb Gardner.
I hope Reinbacher contributes tonight. They beat the Manitoba Moose.
I'm going to watch that game. I get center ice, and they have the OHL games.
Do they? Perfect.
And it might even be on the Sportsnet thing. But if that's on, I'm going to be watching that game. I want to see.
This is not OHL though. This is AHL.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I might be on RDS.
It should be on RDS.
I got RDS too.
Perfect.
So if it's on there, I'm going to watch it. And I'd like to see what these guys are going to do. And let's see Reinbacher.
I'm going to listen to it on TSN 690 out of Montreal.
Right. That's right. They have that too, right?
Absolutely.
So if I can't find it on RDS, but I got RDS, I should be able to get the game. And I do want to watch Reinbacher's return. And also the rest of the guys that are playing so good in Laval. Congratulations to Laval Rocket. I mean, we have to be happy about that because those guys are going to be the guys.
They are the future of l'équipe de Canadien.
They're supplying the power. At one point in the future, they're going to be up there. So, yeah. Anything else, Johnny, today?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, it's been a very snowy, cold weekend in Niagara.
Yep.
You know, spent a lot of time with a shovel.
I call it hockey weather.
When we were kids, like I look at the roads and I go, that road would be perfect to play hockey on because you could slide on it. It's like just.
Yeah, this used to excite me when I was younger.
Think about how we used to play hockey on the road constantly.
Yeah. Well, every day.
We didn't even care. I played a lot of hockey in the driveway, but at one point when it snowed like this and the road was like slick because the tires were the cars were rolling on the road. Compressed the snow. It was nice and slippery. You were like out on the road to play hockey.
Yeah, this was. We'd look out the window and see this and go, oh boy. And once the plow came by and took off the excess snow, it was like the Zamboni going dry by doing the ice.
Absolutely.
And we'd be right out there. The nets would come on, and away we'd go. This is the kind of weather you like to play in. You're running around. You don't get cold in this weather. You don't get cold. Goaltenders maybe a little bit because they're just standing there.
Well, it depends how many shots you get, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So anyway, we're out of here. Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget subscribe.
Subscribe, like us, leave comments. Let us know what you think.
It doesn't cost a dime to subscribe. Just subscribe, smash that subscribe button down there.
And make sure you're tuning in on Saturday night.
Yeah, when Montreal plays Ottawa.
Absolutely.
We'll see who the heck's
we get back to some real hockey.
Yeah, because I've missed it, because I haven't watched this stuff. It doesn't interest me, really. I really don't watch a lot of hockey other than Habs.
Say two.
Yeah, that's it. Other than that, I'll catch a game here and there to see what Boston's doing or Toronto or even Buffalo. But really, if the Habs aren't playing,
No, I mean, I'm watching Montreal and I'm specifically looking to see how people are leaning in. I mean, I'm interested in the fact that Patrick had a good little series with Finland. I want to see if that changes his approach when he comes back into playing for us on the Saturday.
Yeah.
But I must say, at the same point, I listened to the opening period in Montreal against United States against Canada, and it was extremely exciting. And I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow night.
It's going to be a slobber knocker tomorrow night. You got to watch it.
I want to see Canada walk out with the win.
Yeah, once the States is up 4-1, I'll turn it off. I think that's it. Anyway, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is
Jean-Louis Fillon.
We are Habsolutely coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Have a great day. Have a great game tomorrow night. Have a great time watching Habs beat the Ottawa Senator on Saturday. We'll see you next week at noon on Habsolutely. Tune in live or watch this video later on in the day for all you out there in the radio. You can watch the video. It'll be up by about 3 o'clock. Take care. Have a great day, everyone.
Ciao, ciao.